Now here up top, because I want to point this out to you, I know that you're concerned about odors. So obviously taking care of the valve covers is going to take care of your leaks. But you're still going to get some odors. Whether it's tolerable or not will be a matter of how far you want to go into this stand. But this is the oil vapor hoses. Now this assembly here, this assembly and this hose here, we did those a while back when you were in. Let me see if I can get this laser light cooperate. So this hose here and this assembly, but what's you see down in here, all that greasy looking stuff. Let me see if I can get a light on that laser light, because this is all a bit difficult to kind of understand till you look and see. All right, right there. This one here is oil soaked, and this one right here is starting to oil soak and rot. And this one here goes up underneath the intake. So in order to get at this whole back of the throttle plate and everything's got to be pulled out. I am not sure you absolutely need that in terms of urgency. But if you're sensitive to odors, this will put out some odor all up in this area here because it gets drawn into the ventilation system. It's not as bad as the oil leaking onto the exhaust and making that burning odor. But again, I do want to caution you, we're going after the lion's share of the oil leaks. I suggest kicking this can down the road. And here's why. We'll go to part 3 of this video, and that has to do with your fault codes and your misfires. So we'll go back into the diagnostic scanner here, and when we look at the actual fault codes, and by the way, I have driven the car again, Stan. Not again, but I test drove the car up first up, and the faults inside this car are numerous misfires. And I'm sorry to say, when I see these kind of faults on these Audis, and you see this many misfires, you and me both know it's likely not. See all of these misfires? Here we go. Cylinder here, here, number 4, number 5, number 3. And if we go to the next page, number 2 and number 1. I mean, we've got misfires on every cylinder except number 6. I know you don't have 5 different coils and 5 different spark plugs bad on that. And I said all that to say this, talking about the oil rot on the ventilation system, which has already been repaired once by us, or at least part of it has, and now it's come back on the lower end of it, along with all of these misfires. You've got failing catalytic converters, and the only fix on that is to replace the catalytic converters if you're going to get rid of that flashing check engine light, that one when you're going down the road and it starts blinking, as well as the actual misfires, as well as because the catalytic converter starts to plug up, the engine just can't breathe right. And that's why you get, Stan, this same thing going on here. This what we call blow-by vapor or oil rot occurring, because everything's kind of, it's like a digestive system that just won't pass stuff. It all starts backing up. It backs all up into the engine, into the crankcase ventilation system, causes that oil rot as well as the misfires. No easy fix on that. You need to see most likely a exhaust shop or a muffler shop to see if they could get you a pair of aftermarket catalytic converters. All we can get is the Audi stuff. Ouch, very pricey. So recap here, we're going to go for an estimate on the valve covers themselves. There is a water hose, and I didn't show it to you in the very first clip, but this hose where it goes and connects down bottom has got a lot of oil on it, and there's also 2 water hoses that connect to the oil cooler, which are already down there too, and they're already start to have that swollen oil rot condition as well. So I'm going to add a radiator hose on here on the estimate, and both of those oil cooler hoses. It makes no sense to replace the valve covers today only to have a water hose burst in 3 or 4 months because they're oil rotted, they're swollen, and they're just basically pregnant with saturated oil itself. So there's a report on the oil leaks as well as a report on the check engine light. I'm sending you only an estimate for what I think is for the valve cover gaskets and the oil-soaked water hoses. And if you want estimates on the which I am pretty sure now, looking at this, on the oil cooler lines, let me know. One other thing I'll show you, there was a fault in the transmission, and it is actually what's called the Tiptronic system itself. Let's see if I can wrap this up quick enough. The Tiptronic is a it's like a circuit board that sits inside the transmission itself. And your particular style, you can see where it says the fault on the transmission right there. And your particular style of transmission uses a circuit board in order to calculate optimum shifting patterns. I know from experience, I see these particular faults come up in the transmission itself that say Tiptronic. Okay, we're here now. And I tell customers, you can see Tiptronic down switch, opener, short to plus. It requires the shifter assembly to be pulled out the console area here, and you put this, another one of those pricey Audi parts in from Audi. Again, my suggestion is kick the can down the road. If the transmission starts getting buggy and shifting or getting stuck in gear, maybe time to cross that bridge, but I think right now you got bigger fish to fry. Just be aware of it's going to get you the old adage sooner or later. So I wanted to give you a full report on it and let you know that even after this repair, there's bigger ones coming. If you love your car, keep it. If you don't, then you may want to get rid of it after we get the oil leaks fixed. I'll do my best to get you an estimate for first thing in the morning so you can look it over and let us know what the go-ahead. And I think at this point, if you gave us an okay, we would push hard to have it done by Friday, Saturday at noon. But again, I don't want to make any commitments till I kind of get into finding out when my parts can be here, number one, and number two, what's going to be involved in getting everything done, especially on those several of those hoses and stuff. I'm just not sure what the availability on those are. But more details to come. This is just the initial video report to let you know so you can see what I'm recommending and why I'm only recommending what I am.